All right, our next assignment is hard slabs. Okay, this assignment has been the most difficult assignment in Pottery 2 for my students. I don't think it's really that difficult so long as you're really paying attention to the state of your clay, the moisture management. If you're good at that, if you're good at setting alarms on your phone so that you make sure that you're always covering up your projects and really paying attention to when they become leather hard, if you're good at that, this assignment's not going to be that difficult for you. If you are still having a hard time making sure your projects get covered up, this is going to be a hard or difficult project. Okay, so hard slabs. What hard slabs are is we're going to make slabs. We're going to let them become leather hard before we really deal with them. We're going to put them together when they're leather hard. Okay, opposed to manipulating them when they're still soft. We're using them when they're leather hard. Right. This is going to make really rigid, very geometrical projects, opposed to soft slabs, where you get very soft, kind of a totally different aesthetic with soft slabs. Okay, so I'm going to start with sketches. The reason I'm talking about the sketches in this video is simple because they're super important to this project. Sketching them out, really planning out this project is very important. Okay, so I'm going to start with some ideas, 5 sketches, geometric forms. I'm just going to kind of get some ideas out there. I'm just going to do something very simple like that. I'm going to make like a little planter for maybe some succulents or something to plant. Okay, so I'll start with some just quick ideas of different sketches. Okay, all right. Then what I want you to do is I want you to plan out something a lot more exact. Okay, we're actually going to use these. This is a great way to do it. There's lots of different ways to do hard slabs, but I want you guys to do it this way, okay, where you're planning out something before you start. Okay, so I'm going to actually cut these out and use them for my template for my project. Okay, so I'm going to say this is going to be, I want it to be 9 inches long. So I'm actually going to cut out all the pieces for my project. Okay, out of paper, and then use those as templates. Okay, so I'm going to go 9 inches long. I'm thinking 4 inches tall is pretty good. Now for this demo, I'm just going to create something super simple. All right, so that's going to be one of my sides right there. So I can actually use this for side 1, and we'll call it 3. Side 1 and 3, right? So the long sides. Okay, this side would be 1 here. And then 3 would be back there. We have 2, and then 4 would be over there. All right, so the other side, we know that this needs to be 4 inches tall. All right, so how long do I want it? Probably, let's just go 4 inches long as well. I don't want to make this project so small that it's difficult to work with. So this is gonna be a pretty good size for this project. All right, so now I can use this as my template for side 2 and 4. Now if I want to do the bottom, I'm going to really need to do it. It's going to need to be 9 by 4. So I guess this can also be the end bottom. Right, then I can just cut this out. Okay, step 1 of this project is to get sketches, 5 sketches, half page apiece of different ideas, just rough sketches. Step 2 would be to cut out templates, right? As you can imagine, this is going to be, this will make up side 1, side 2, and the bottom, okay? This will make up side 2 and 4. So I should have said side 1, side 3, the bottom, side 2 and 4. All right, so if you're going to do a box, you need 5 different pieces, different slabs. If you're going to do, all right, 1 for each of the sides, 1 for the bottom. If you're going to do enclosed box or a lidded box, then you're going to need 6 sides. Okay. Now, step 3 will be to make slabs. All right, coming over to the slab roller now. It's not 100% important that you use the slab roller. It's up to you. You can make a slab any way you want. I like the slab roller for this project because it gives me a nice consistent slab 100% of the time. Okay, but that's up to you. Okay, what I want to do though, when I want to make sure that I've got my pieces started. Okay, remember I'm going to need 3 of these, 2 of the other one. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I have this before I start, so I know how big of a slab to make. Alright, so I would say with this project, you really don't want anything too thin. Right? Don't make those slabs so thin that you can't work with them. Say about a 1/4 inch here is pretty good. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty good there. Let's go through one more time. Alright, so now let's see if the slab's big enough. 1, 2, definitely not going to be big enough, guys. Okay, so what I'll do, I will put this on my board, I'll cut it out. Right. I like to put it on the board before I cut it out. And you can like to make this a little bit hard and then cut out the pieces. I like to cut out the pieces now when it's still wet so that they don't bend too much. Plus, you get to use the extra clay here still. Okay. Alright, I like to put the clay on the board before I really cut it out. That way I don't have to move the slabs lots of times. Every time I move the slab, it's going to distort it, and I don't want that. So I'm going to try to keep it in place while I cut it. That way it'll stay true to the way I cut it, since I do not have to move it from the board until it's leather hard. All right, and obviously these lines are not 100%, but once these pieces are leather hard, you can really true them up and get them perfect. And I will show you how to do that as well. Okay, so step 3 was make the slab. Step 4 is cutting out the pieces. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and, now these are leather hard, I am going to smooth them out. I just don't like the texture. I probably could have done this before. I don't like the texture of the canvas from the slab roller. So I'm gonna choose to smooth out the inside, what's gonna be the inside now, and then I'll deal with the outside later. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my Sureform. These are located in the bottom drawer, sometimes where the paintbrushes go, but sometimes in the bottom drawer of the tool bin. They have a yellow handle, they're a little bit different. Either a Sureform or you can borrow an X-Acto knife from me, and I'm just going to true up these sides. They kind of got a little bit off, and so I'm going to make these right on. What I like to do is use the edge of this table because I know that's square. Then I can really get this thing right get it exactly where I want it. Now this thing is pretty sweet, pretty square. I can also, depending on how anal I am about it, I can check to see square with my speed square here. It's looking pretty good. Okay, still want these to be leather hard at this stage, remember. So this still has a little bit of flex to it, but it stands up pretty well by itself. Okay, it's leather hard. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do this to all of them, and then I'm gonna stack them up and just make sure they're all the same size as well. Okay. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, and I'll illustrate here. Okay, so there'd be a few different ways to put this together, right? Okay, as you can see, there's a difference in height here, or if you did it that way, there'd be a difference in the area here. Okay, so the way that I'm going to deal with this is I'm actually going to put 45-degree angles on everything. Okay, this right here, if you can see, right there. Okay, that would be called a butt joint. It's not going to be as strong as if I put a 45-degree angle on these. It's going to look better and it's going to be stronger. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Putting an angle on these. And there's two different ways to do that. The first way, remember, this is going to be my inside, so I'm going to face this down. Alright, the first way would be to take your X-Acto knife and put, right, this is a 90-degree angle. This would be parallel to the table. It would be 180 degree or 90 degree that way. We want 45 degrees this way, okay? So it doesn't have to be exact because clay is a little forgiving. We just go ahead and cut these. And this really isn't going to work unless you have an X-Acto knife. So you can borrow one from me. Check one out for me at the at my desk. Okay, so that's what we have. Now you can imagine I'm going to put these on all the sides. Okay, I'm going to show you one more way to do it though. Okay, another way would be to use your Surform. This is actually I'd rather use this way most of the time. I feel like I just have a little bit more control over that and I can see it a little bit better, so I prefer that way. Okay, so now I'm going to put these together. It's going to look like this. And I feel like that seam is a lot more attractive. Okay, so I'm going to put 45-degree angles on all of these. All right, now we have our pieces with the angles on them. We have all 5 pieces done, ready to go. Okay, at this point, you know, if these have dried out a little bit, this is great. 2 of my pieces dried out just a little bit. What the best thing to do there is to go ahead and wrap them up in a wet paper towel, leave it for 15-20 minutes, and then check it again. If you just dip it in water, that's usually not as effective as wrapping it in a paper towel. Okay. All right, now we got to talk about slipping and scoring. Slipping and scoring is hugely important on this assignment. In the beginning, I said that a lot of my students fail because their projects become leather hard or bone dry, and then they have to restart. With the other reason why you would fail this assignment is because you're slipping and scoring poorly. More so on this assignment than just about any other assignment that we've ever had. We want to do a really good job slipping and scoring. Okay, slip and score. I highly recommend adding a little extra slip in there if you have a little bit of extra slip. I actually have a little bucket of slip, so I'm going to use that. Okay, I'm just gonna wet down the joints on here, and then I'm just gonna kind of do one at a time, slipping and scoring. All right. We have a few of these tools, so you really probably want to use this tool on this assignment if you're gonna do a good job with it. Like I said, I had a little bit of slip down here, so I'm just going to go ahead and Okay, you really want to press these in. I like to go across with the rib and really press it in. I'll do that even more later. Now, it is a good idea to go ahead and put a coil on these lines and in the inside joints. There's a little coil in there. I'm going to skip that. I think mine will stick, but it's a good idea to put a coil in there. Okay, now I'll just put the rest together. Okay, now that I've got this put together pretty well, I'm gonna kind of go on the outside and smooth some things up, and really I want to make sure that these are the joints are put together really well. So I'm gonna go with a sponge, then a paddle. Okay, I find that if I just go through here, I can really make sure that all these joints are put together really well. Okay, paddle a little bit. Then I like to go through with my sponge, just really kind of compress this joint. All the joints, just compress them down. I don't like to be able to see the seams. You can leave them so you can see them. I just find that reduces cracking just a little bit if I go through here and okay, guys. Might work on this just a little bit more, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. So there you go, hard slab.